stagnating and maybe even contracting over the course of this century. And meanwhile, population is continuing to grow. That means that per capita consumption, per capita GDP would plummet. Is that any kind of future for your children and grandchildren? Maybe it's time to start thinking about population. Maybe it's also time to start thinking about building resilience into your economy. Now, what are we talking about with resilience? In many cases, resilience is the opposite of economic efficiency. Economic efficiency sounds like a good thing. After all, energy efficiency is almost always a good thing. Well, economic efficiency is a bit different. When I explain this to American audiences, I use the following analogy. If you can grow corn cheaper in Iowa than anywhere else, then you should grow all of your corn in Iowa and nothing in Iowa except corn. Makes good economic sense. That's economic efficiency. But it makes for a less resilient food system, because if the Iowa corn crop fails, as it's doing right now, then nobody has corn and Iowa has nothing. If you want a more resilient food system, then you need more dispersed inventories. You need a more localized food system rather than a globalized and centralized food system. It may not be as economically efficient, but in hard times, then it'll be much easier for everyone to get by. Well, we are facing hard times. Let's be real about this. The 21st century is not going to look like the 20th century all over again. It's not the Jetsons. It's not the Beverly Hillbillies. It's going to be a time of belt tightening. It's going to be a time of retrenchment. Now, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. We've had hard economic times before, and we've gotten through them. But it will go much better for us if we prepare, if we understand what's happening and why, and make the necessary adjustments. Getting off growth will go much easier for us, for example, if we get off of GDP. GDP, most economists will acknowledge, is a perverse indicator. All it's telling us is that we're spending more money, but we may be spending money on things that make us miserable. Why not adopt indicators like a genuine progress indicator or gross national happiness, as the people of Bhutan have done, that actually gives us useful information about the quality of our household lives and community lives, the quality of our environment, and so on? How about developing alternative currencies so that if one major currency like the US dollar or the Australian dollar has a few hiccups along the way, we have some alternatives to that, perhaps a currency that's not based on interest-bearing debt. Maybe we need to rethink how corporations are organized. You know, right now most corporations are organized so that their first priority is returns for shareholders. So corporations have to grow or die. And if a corporation stops growing, then it's likely to be taken over by another and liquidated and so on. How about family-owned or worker-owned businesses that can continue to provide work for their labor force, can continue to provide good products